Hello and welcome to this short video where I go through how to configure your form page to use the process form handler and how to link it into Google reCAPTCHA if you want to. Now there is a downside to using Google reCAPTCHA, and that is if you have more than one form on your page, you may only place the reCAPTCHA field in one of those forms. So in some of our templates we include the form on the contact page, and then we also include the form at the very top of the page through a drop-down item in a menu or contact panel. And if that's the case, then you're going to need to choose either to remove one of those forms, perhaps the one in the contact panel in the drop-down menu, or the one for the contact page. Either way, you're only going to be able to use the Google reCAPTCHA on one form only, and we only provide instructions here for the Google reCAPTCHA. There may be a situation where another third-party solution may allow you to have more than one CAPTCHA field on a page, and that's fine. We're not going to be providing instructions for that though at this time. So moving along, this is your standard form that we include within the contact page, and we're just going to show you how it typically is configured. So one thing to note is you need to make sure that the action points to the process form script. Now if you don't have it already, all you need to do is just log into your account and then go to your product management page, and then there will be a tools tab, and it will show you where to download the process form script from. But generally speaking, it's also available in your download package. So the action needs to be /process form if you're going to include the process form PHP script within the main folder or root folder of your website. And for good measure, you need to make sure that the method is set to post. If you don't have anything defined, like there's no method attribute here, you can leave it as such. That just means that all the attributes will be are what's called get arguments, but it's best to include this. All right, switching over to the process form script itself. Currently, as of this video, we are now on version 1.3. So you need to make sure that you configure each one of these items here. So email address to send form to, so that's where you want this information from. So it might be Brandon at Lucky Marble. Okay, and then where the form is sending the results from, and this should really be your actual domain. So in my case, I've got this is the domain that I'm sending it from in this video. It really should be an email address that actually exists, because often mail servers will check to see whether or not the form does exist, or sorry, the email address does exist. And it should be from the domain that you're actually sending it from. So if you're trying to send it, if you're actually, the form is on this domain, but you're using something like at gmail.com, it's going to fail in all likelihood. So do make sure that you use an email address for the domain that you're sending it from. And then the next step is, where do you want to send the user once they filled out the form and the email information has been bundled up and sent to you? So in my case, I would send it along to my thank you page. And of course, you do need to make sure that you have a thank you page. You can choose to change the subject of the form mail that gets sent to you. You could just leave it the same if you wish. I already went through this, setting your action and your post. And then of course you need to make sure that you upload this script to your server. So I'm just going to save that, and in another window I'm just transferring the file via FTP. Okay, so let's go back to the form. We'll refresh it, and we're going to say, and then we'll do and we hit submit. And at this time, Looks like my thank you message is just off screen here. Yeah, there we are. So it takes us to a thank you page. If you have not configured your form, you will get a message that says your form hasn't been configured. Now, what about configuring a CAPTCHA field? So we're going to show you how to do the Google reCAPTCHA. Now, the first thing that you need to do is download. We provided the single reCAPTCHA library file for you to download. You can grab it from this URL. You just place that into your address bar and it will download. I'll show you what I mean. There we go. So it's just going to download. So you save that file to your website and make sure you upload it. Okay. The next step is you need to go and sign up for a reCAPTCHA account. Yes, you have to have a Google account. If you don't have one already, you can go and sign up. It's free. And then once you've signed up, you will have the ability to add a new site. So you'll see a button that shows sign up now. And once you've gone and done that, you'll see a button that shows add new site. When you click on my account, you can go and do that, and then you add your website address. Okay, so in this case, just like that. So then you click on your the address, and then you grab the private key. And so we go back to our process form script, and then you just paste your private key here. Make sure there's no trailing spaces. And then the next step is to grab this bit of code here and then place it into your form. So we're going to go back to the contact form here. And you can place it here. Now, just placing it there alone in this particular form might not display as we would like, but we'll show you how it looks. And you can always tailor it as you see fit in the future. But we're going to need to grab our public key. So we go back to Google and we grab the public key. All right. Go back here and we paste the public key in these two spots. And then we hit save. And we also save our process form script here. And that's the last step, is to upload the contact page as well as this script. So I'm going to go do that in another page, another window here. So I'm uploading both the process form.php and the contact.html. So we're going to go back here. We're going to go back to the contact page, and we're going to make sure it's reloaded. So you'll see here now we have the Google reCAPTCHA field here. Now there are all sorts of ways of stylizing it, maybe even changing the color, and you can learn how to do that by going to Resources, Docs, and Plugins at the Google site. There's all sorts of different ways you can change the color if you like. I think there's probably 4 or 5 different styles, but for now we're just going to go with the standard. If you want to get all fancy, you can research how to do that yourself. Moving back here, if I were to enter this information in now and hit submit, it's going to tell me the reCAPTCHA wasn't entered correctly. Go back and try it again. Okay. We hit the back arrow, and our information is still in this form. Okay. So we hit submit, provided that the number now matches, and we get to the thank you page. So what this is going to do and how this actually works is this is rendered by JavaScript. And many spider bots don't even recognize or render the JavaScript on a page. And so what they're just going to do is they're going to see a form, and they're going to see that it points to the process script, and they're just going to submit all these fields directly to it. Yet in the process form, we're saying, hey, I've got Google reCAPTCHA installed. You haven't submitted the reCAPTCHA field, and if you have, is it correct? We're not going to be, bundling up this information. So from a human standpoint, we'll go back to the form. even if you get the number wrong or you can't read this, you know, maybe you enter in 25400 and you hit submit. It's going to say, oh, it's going to say thank you actually. Well, it's not nice. Maybe it figured that it was close enough. But if we enter in 37 here, apparently it's close enough. That's the funny thing. If we enter in some letters there, it's not correct. So the funny thing about Google reCAPTCHA is that it, and you can read up on how it actually works here. The introduction here is what it does is it digitizes, or it digitizes a bunch of text, Google Google Maps and Street View and that sort of thing, or even books, and it tries to identify text so that it can be digitized and later searched on. And it will take this bit of information and serve it to hundreds or thousands of people. And provided that the answer is more or less the same when you type this in, you could probably enter in 52 and it'll probably work. But if you type in something like yes, it won't. You'll say, sorry, it's incorrect. Again, if it's pretty close to what we're looking at here, that's probably 282, but if you enter in 262, it might work. It does. So there you go. So it's not, unless you get something like this, these are a little bit more difficult. And you can always hit refresh if you want to get a new image there. So that's installing the Google reCAPTCHA and the form processing script. And again, just make sure that you have, and I'm just going to show you the basics here. Make sure you have minimally your form, the processform.php, the reCAPTCHA which is available from, I believe it's step 8A, and a thank you page. And then you're done.